Hey guys, welcome back to Unqualified Critics. I'm enjoying my Monster Energy drink, getting into the evening, and well, I'm also honestly a little bit procrastinating. I've got two different electric scooters I need to figure out a review, even though the weather's not cooperating. So in the meantime, while I put that off, I'm going to talk to you guys about a purchase I just made, the Attack from Mars Arcade1up Pinball. You might be wondering, how did you order this? You're in the United States, these are only in Canada. Well, you can order them from Buy Stuff Store. Now, I don't know if they have it posted on their website yet by the time you see this, but I think they will be posting it. Certainly, if you're in Canada, you can get it from them now, but they do ship to the United States, so reach out to them if you want to buy it. Now, you're going to pay a little extra because they're shipping it, plus you've got the exchange rate. Things just cost more in Canada. So if you want the lowest price you can get, you got to wait for Best Buy or GameStop or Arcade1up.com, but if you have to have it now, you do have an option, as far as I know. I want to talk about why did I get Attack from Mars, because I've been thinking for a while, which one should I get? Because I don't really have room for multiple right now. I could just buy a big old plot of land and eventually build a house there with a mega monster game room, but that's at least a year or two away. For now I got to deal with a more normal size game room, and I got to make do with the space I have. I like some of the other Arcade1up pinballs. I like the Legends pinball. But to me, I want something that looks like an authentic pinball machine of yesteryear. And obviously the Attack from Mars is really the only option for that. I mean, the Toy Shock is out there, but that's just not quite good enough quality for me. Whereas from what I've read and seen and heard from people, the Attack from Mars Arcade1up, while not, a high-end pinball simulator by any means, looks and sounds like it is good enough for me. I'm not a huge pinball head. Big respect to people who are, by the way, but that's not me. So I'm okay with the lower fidelity experience. But the thing that really surprised me, and I had this conversation with Mario on my live stream the other day, this guy's played all the pinball tables, including Legends. The Attack from Mars seems to have better color settings. I'm assuming it's the same monitor, but maybe the brightness isn't quite as high. The imaging on for example, the Marvel cabinet, from what I've seen, it looks washed out. The text looks compressed down to where you can barely read it in some cases. People say, oh God, 720p strikes again. Look, I know it's been a while since we've had 720p televisions in our house, but 720, 24-inch screen, it ain't great, but you can read some text on it that isn't super tiny, and this text isn't super tiny and you can't really read it. So that's not the resolution. That's probably compression, probably the quality of the underlying art asset, maybe. But to me, forget it. That takes Marvel off the table. And again, that's just me. If you're a huge Marvel head, the Marvel cabinet does look awesome. So I'm not trying to talk you out of anything. I'm just telling you why I went all in on the Attack from Mars. So the colors look better. The text is clearer. The asset quality is superior somehow. I don't know why. The other thing is the playfield seems a little bit better positioned. What do I mean by this? Well, P-Dubs pointed this out in his Marvel review, and to be honest, I had never noticed it until he said anything about it. The playfield is just pushed up really far forward, or up from where your flipper buttons are, where you're standing at the pinball table. So first off, if you look at the Arcade1up pinball or the Legends pinball, they both kind of have an unspoken issue. And that issue is you have all this dead space at the front where normally your playfield would be there. Maybe you'd have instructions about how to play the table and what it costs and everything. And then just north of that, you have the actual playfield. Well, now you've got this dead space. With the Legends pinball, you've got room for a control panel, which is kind of cool because they're going to add different control panels you can swap in. But for the Arcade1up, it's literally dead space. It's just a piece of MDF board that's black. It doesn't look bad, but that's where the instructions would normally be. So you've got that. And then north of that is your monitor. Well, where your monitor is, now you've got your instructions, and then you've got your actual active playfield with your flippers. But in between the dead space and your playfield, there's still just a bunch of wasted space where everything's just pushed north. It almost looks like it wasn't really ever designed for a portrait screen. And I tested this on my computer. I have a couple monitors. One of them is portrait. And I put pinball on portrait mode, with the Marvel. And it looks, there's a lot of space at the bottom of the screen. And it's not a big deal when you're playing, on a keyboard. But if you're standing over a playfield and you look down, everything's just forward. It's a little bit awkward. It seems to me the Attack from Mars is slightly better position than the others. I can't say for sure unless I had them next to each other, but it seems like they're slightly better positioned. Still an issue, but slightly better. Also, and this could be a coincidence, but now I think at least 2, if not 3 people have reported to me, hey, my Attack from Mars, it's got a real sensitive accelerometer. Other people say, hey, my Marvel, my Star Wars, accelerometer is shit, not sensitive. I noticed this on Retro Ralph's review, and I think a lot of you guys did too. He can bump the table around when he's cradling the ball. Weird thing to say, but when he does that, the ball will move, but it's not smooth. It's almost just feels like it's jerking it around a little bit. Contrast that with the prototype unit that Mel B demoed, and it looked buttery smooth. Now that was a Marvel, and that one didn't have any problems, but so far, from 2 people Attack from Mars, and I think 2, maybe 3 people with either the Star Wars or the Marvel, they're telling 2 different stories. The Attack from Mars guys are saying, hey, my accelerometer buttery smooth. The other guys are saying, hey, my accelerometer not registering very well. Is this because they are using different components? I don't know. Is it because the software is better optimized? I don't know why it would be. I'm kind of getting confused. Why are there these differences? These 3 tables are all running software from the same company. You know, they're all from the same ecosystem of Pinball FX3. I know this isn't natively running FX3, but it's the same software and it's the same hardware package, but yet there are these differences, and just every time Attack from Mars seems to come out on top. Also, there are performance issues, unfortunately, with Marvel and with Star Wars, and it turns out there are performance issues with Attack from Mars as well, but there is the only option where you can turn off the extra animations, and suddenly you get buttery smooth gameplay. You know, you're not dropping. I don't know if it was just dropping frames. I don't know if it was just slowing the frame rate down occasionally, but there were issues where it wasn't the consistent full 60 frames per second with animations on. And as you guys know, Attack from Mars is the only one where you can turn that off and put it into like a performance mode. Now, do they need to do a performance mode like that for all their other tables? Yeah, I mean, I assume that would be a lot of work because they've got to kind of reimagine the table animations. They weren't like that to begin with, whereas Attack from Mars has the more simulation type mode. It's, hey, you're just playing the pinball table, and we're going to kind of pretend like this isn't virtual. But in hindsight, did they need to bring that to Star Wars and Marvel? Yeah, it seems like it. So, you know, I'm not trying to talk you guys out of Marvel or Star Wars. They look great. I think if I had to pick between those 2, I probably would pick Star Wars. It doesn't have seemingly the art asset issues with just the extreme pixelation on text, from what I've seen at least. Again, I'm not seeing these in person, but from what I've seen and what I've heard. And I do think of the tables I played, the Star Wars ones are a little more fun, a little better, a little more interesting than the Marvel. But, you know, I think this probably comes down to what do you like. If you're a huge Star Wars head, if you're a huge Marvel guy, you know, those are probably going to be for you. But for me, I think a lot of you would agree with this, I just wanted the pinball that looked most like a real original pinball. And I think Arcade1up, you know, probably hit that out of the park. The real trick is going to be how long do these PCBs last before they melt, because it seems like these are running at peak load like all the time, and that makes me a little nervous. Man, I really hope they stand by these products, sell replacement PCBs into the future. Yeah, I know you can mod them. I also don't care that you can mod them. You know, you can put a Raspberry Pi or a computer in literally anything, including a toaster. It doesn't mean that's what I want to do. And I think a lot of people that buy these don't want to do that, or they wouldn't have bought them. They would have bought the Legends pinball or built their own. So they really need to provide support for replacement parts. And then also, as we know, a lot of people's solenoids have died already. So I'm worried about that, but you guys know I'm going to give you some honest reporting on that. If I buy this and I have issues with it, y'all are going to hear about it. You know, and that's okay. If this has a lot of complexity, parts are going to fail. Not the end of the world. Is the end of the world if Arcade1up doesn't stand by their product and sell you replacements 6 months later? That's the end of the world. You spend $600-700 on these and they just sit there. That's garbo. But we'll see. I'm in for it. I will have a full review for you guys once it's here. I don't have a delivery date yet. Was just informed of shipment today. Hopefully by the end of next week I could do a review for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy the video, you know what to do. Make sure you are subscribed and do hit that like button. I should probably tell you that at the beginning when everybody's watching, but if you made it this far, do me a solid, hit that like button. Thanks guys, I'm gonna talk to you later.